Hey, what is going on, everybody? It's Weather with Jonathan here, back again with another weather forecast. And in this video, we will be talking about a major severe weather outbreak to be going on today, and a slight risk tomorrow, and potentially another little bit of severe weather Tuesday, and a very active June ahead. So let's jump straight into the forecast. So jumping straight into what we have today, because we have a lot going on. I mean, we have one of the biggest, most widespread severe weather outbreaks I have ever seen in my life, stretching from portions of northern Mexico all the way to southern Canada. I mean, this is absolutely massive. This will include states like North and South Dakota, Minnesota, Iowa, Nebraska, Colorado, Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas, and even portions of Missouri and New Mexico here. This is just absolutely massive here. This is going to take place across mostly the Great Plains, but this will also take place a little bit towards the Midwest. So this severe weather outbreak will kind of take place along this area here. So this is absolutely massive. And we haven't really seen anything like this big in quite a while here. And we also have another system coming in from the west. I'm currently getting impacted by this. I've gotten some absolutely heavy rain and extremely high winds. But as you can see here, we've got some strong storms going up into northwestern Minnesota here. These will mainly pose a damaging wind and hail threat. A tornado threat is not likely across portions of the Dakotas and Minnesota. However, there is a higher tornado threat up here in Texas and in the portions of Oklahoma. But you have a 2% risk if you live basically anywhere north of central Kansas. Or north of central Colorado, because honestly, south of that, the atmosphere is more favorable for that, especially in terms of dew points. The atmosphere is not very favorable for tornadoes up in the Dakotas and in Minnesota, but damaging winds and hail will be a massive threat here today, and we do have wind as the biggest threat here, because we are expecting a QLCS situation to unfold in Nebraska, or kind of a just line of storms here. We're not expecting a derecho, but we are expecting a pretty damaging line of severe winds. And listen, there could be a tornado or two embedded in it, but it's highly unlikely, honestly, because this atmosphere is not favorable for tornadoes. So now looking at the HRRR, this is one of the two sections we're going to look at, slash regions of the United States that we're going to look at for severe weather, because honestly, the other region of the United States is kind of our main focus here. So we're going to go out into a few of the future hours here on the HRRR, and you can see here, storms are popping up in northern Texas, and we have lots of storms going on near the Fort Worth, Dallas region. And we also have a few storms popping up south near Midland, Texas, or Fort Stockton, Texas. And these supercells will continue to grow in northern and western Texas. And if these supercells in northern Texas have enough environment, they could produce a tornado or two, and if they remain discrete. So I mean, these supercells are very isolated, discrete, and they have a decent environment to produce tornadoes. And honestly, I mean, I've seen some decent photographs here, and these supercells are looking ugly. But as this is heading into the overnight hours, honestly, our biggest tornado threat will probably be between about 6 and 9, and then it'll start to just die down and kind of fizzle out. But storms will keep popping up in Texas through the overnight hours, but those should kind of dissipate around the morning hours, like 7, 8 on June 3rd. But I mean, looking at these storms in Colorado and western Kansas, I mean, these don't look too strong. I think their main threats will be probably damaging winds and hail. Damaging winds is probably the most likely scenario, but let's look at the other region now. So now looking at the other region here, this is where you'll be able to see most of the action here. Also because we have the enhanced risk for this area. So we have an enhanced risk basically for central Nebraska and extreme northern Kansas. And you can see here these storms are really popping up. This is actually kind of what it looks like right now, I have to be quite honest. But we already have a few tornadoes actually popping up in North Dakota. And listen, there's not a high tornado threat with these storms, but it is possible. You can see here a lot of storms are popping up in South Dakota, western Minnesota, and North Dakota. These storms will just mainly be capable of severe hail and damaging winds, but a tornado or two is not out of the question. I mean, it's not likely, but it's definitely possible. And then around 5 p.m. here, today or tonight, you can see here we have a developing damaging wind threat going on in central Nebraska. Here you can see this line of storms starting to bow out a little bit and then start to dissipate around 9 to 10. And this storm system will kind of just fizzle out in the morning. But a few storms could be going on still in southern Minnesota around the St. Paul region. But then we're going to see maybe a few more storms fire up in northern Iowa, maybe tomorrow in the morning around 4 to 6. I am not expecting a whole lot from these storms, but honestly, it's a possibility. It's not likely that these storms will do anything, but these storms could pop up and they could do a little bit of damage in terms of wind and hail. So now let's look at the outlooks. So looking at the outlook for today, Sunday, June 2nd, 2024, as you can see here, this is an absolutely massive severe weather outbreak here, and we have all the conditions to support damaging winds and hail and even tornadoes in northern Texas. I think we actually could get a few tornadoes there, and honestly, I definitely think there actually could end up being a 10% risk. Not hatched, but 10% risk, seeing that those supercells look absolutely hideous in Texas. I've seen some supercells that look like that, and they produced a few tornadoes. So I'm not saying they will produce tornadoes. I'm just saying they look pretty likely to produce a tornado. But we have a level 3 out of 5 enhanced risk for today in central Nebraska, extreme northeastern Colorado, and northern and northwestern Kansas. And then the slight risk is absolutely massive, you guys. I mean, it's from southern Canada all the way up to northern Mexico. This is absolutely massive. This will include places like Midland, Texas, Amarillo, Texas, or yeah, I believe so. Fort Worth and Dallas, Texas. Maybe western Oklahoma City, Woodward, Oklahoma, Topeka and Wichita, Kansas, I believe, will be included in that. Goodland, Kansas, Hastings, Nebraska, Omaha, Nebraska, Kearney, Nebraska. Man, this is absolutely massive. Pierre, Sioux City, South Dakota, or Sioux Falls. Man, this is an absolutely big slight risk. Maybe Bismarck, North Dakota. It is possible. And then pretty much anywhere in western Minnesota. This is just off the charts massive. Like this is a humongous light risk. And then if you're in a dark green, you're in a marginal risk. Still watch out for maybe a few severe thunderstorms or like your soccer game to be canceled or something. But I mean, it's not too likely for that to happen. I mean, these storms will still be able to produce hail and damaging winds, but it's not likely. And these storms are not something you need to stress about, but I just keep an eye out on them because they could actually be like a slight risk level storm or maybe even an enhanced risks type storm. So, yeah, I mean, these supercells could do something in Louisiana and Texas, especially near Houston, Texas, Orange, Texas, and Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and New Orleans, Louisiana, and then like also near like Cheyenne, Wyoming. Kansas City, Missouri, Des Moines, Iowa, Minneapolis, Minnesota, St. Paul. I'd still watch out just in case there are some severe storms, and maybe even Oklahoma City is in that too. It's not likely, but maybe even San Antonio, Texas. I can't tell, but you guys still pay attention to these storms. They could still cause a few tree limbs to go down, maybe even knock out the power. It's not insanely likely, but it's possible. So please keep an eye out. So now looking at tomorrow's outlook, Monday, June 3rd, 2024. As you can see here, we have a small slight risk, including portions of northeastern Texas, southeastern Oklahoma, southwestern Arkansas, and northwestern Louisiana. And then a marginal risk includes San Antonio, Texas, Oklahoma City, maybe Fort Worth. I know Dallas, you're definitely in that. Little Rock, Arkansas, Poplar Bluff, Missouri, Joplin, Missouri, Jefferson City, Missouri, St. Louis, Missouri, Peoria, Illinois, Chicago, Illinois. You guys are all in this. Madison, Wisconsin. You guys are all in this. And Davenport, Iowa. You guys are all in this marginal risk. And then if you live in like the light green, you don't really need to worry about anything. That's just the general thunderstorm risk. That's just your average thunderstorm. May be able to produce like a little bit of damaging winds and hail, but they are not the kind that will produce damaging tornadoes and stuff like that. So now let's look at Tuesday's outlook. So now looking at Tuesday's outlook, as you can see here, we have another marginal risk that could be upgraded to a slight risk. You never know. But this is for portions of eastern Minnesota, northwestern Wisconsin, pretty much the entire state of Iowa, southeastern Nebraska, northeastern Kansas, and northwestern Missouri. This will include places like Kansas City, Missouri, Omaha, Nebraska, Des Moines, Iowa, St. Paul, Minnesota, and Minneapolis, Minnesota. So this could be upgraded to a slight risk. It is definitely possible. I honestly wouldn't be surprised. I mean, it doesn't look like a too bad storm, but it does look like it's possible. And this day will feature damaging winds and large hail. Probably not any tornadoes, but it is definitely possible. So thank you guys for coming and watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Stay safe out there with all that severe weather. Thank you so much for all the support lately. We actually might be able to hit 200 subscribers by next month. And thank you. I really appreciate it. We're already halfway to 200, and it's only been about, I want to say, a month since we've hit 100. I mean, it's been about probably. It's only been about 20 days since I've hit 100. So thank you guys so much for all that support. I really appreciate it. Consider liking this video and subscribing to my channel. It really helps out a lot. And I'll see you in my next